Show you how displaced we are.
Healthcare worker Oguzo Beduzi shows us the damage caused by floods that have engulfed his village Okporowo in River State. The water destroyed much of his home and his belongings and forced his parents and 8 siblings to flee.
If you look at the back of my house, it's not better for this flood. The mud house, it's all, in fact, it has collapsed. So when people come back to their home, it is difficult.
The people in this region are no strangers to rain, but this has been the heaviest rainfall in 40 years. Many blame the federal government for their suffering. They say the authorities were not prepared to move people, provide shelter and other emergency services, despite a warning that there would be major flooding this year. And what makes them more angry, they say, is that this is the oil-producing part of the country, which makes up 95% of Nigeria's economy. So they feel they should have priority. Not far away from Okporowo on the east-west road that links the oil-producing region, there are communities which are also being affected. On either side of the east-west road, there are hundreds of villages that have been completely isolated by these floods, and people tell us there are communities that simply can't be reached.
They give you funds based on certain projects.
Environmentalist Maurice Alagoa says the reason the scale of the flooding is so high is partly because of the release of huge quantities of water from dams in the north and climate change, but also adds the government is not doing enough to protect people.
The government is even overwhelmed. We ought to see the military here, putting their expertise, controlling traffic, directing people, reassuring them, for us to see them and say, yes, this is Nigeria working. But as of now, nothing. Be patient.
The government has set up camps for the hundreds of thousands of people who have been displaced in the region. It's also providing shelter, food and medical care until the water recedes. But there is evidence that there's still more rain to come, which could make the flooding worse and displace even more people. Yvonne Ndege, Al Jazeera, River State, Nigeria.